I think that respect and that, right, asking questions and actually listening,
Yes. Yes.
right, is part of that, bringing that defense with gentleness and respect, because
Correct.
you're showing that respect by asking them questions, allowing them to explain, right, and if you're
Right.
actually listening, you can address the question so much more
That's right.
directly and meaningfully, right?
Right. That's the key. I think a very important aspect of evangelism is we need to be able to master the art of listening without the automatic intent of responding.
Right.
We want to respond, obviously, but that attitude of like, well, okay, I'm going to let him talk. I'm going to just pounce on. We have to be very careful to not always be in, and I'm using this because we're always thinking apologetically, but we don't want to be in apologetics debate mode all the time, if that makes sense. Okay.
Right.
Sometimes we just need to be good listeners and then, enter into the point where it's appropriate and then make that point that we want to make.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a time to be in debate mode, right?
Right.
I mean, and you be very, very careful because a lot of people will watch a lot of apologetics online. They'll watch a bunch of debates, for example, and then they'll act as though they can talk like that in conversations with people on the street. And that's not necessarily true because
Right.
an online debate or an in-person debate is different than your average evangelistic encounter, right? You don't always want to, this is my opponent and I'm going to dismantle them. You need to treat people like human beings. They're image bearers of God. You want to show respect and you want to ease your way in. I mean, when I say ease, it really is going to depend because sometimes you're going to have lots of time. There's not a lot of time with the individual. You need to be able to read the room. This is why I think evangelism is both a science and an art. It's a science in the sense that there are specific things we ought to be doing and saying because we're using scripture as our standard. There's specific content to what we do in evangelism, but it's kind of an art at the same time that we need to be able to read the room and read our audience so that we know how to appropriately respond. And that takes a little work. That takes practice. It takes experience knowing, okay, this is a good time for me to bring this up. Wait, actually, now this isn't a good time to bring this up. And so there's definitely a delicate dance between the art and science of how to do evangelism well.